What's going on? What is going on? Peace, peace. Where y'all at? Okay, so while we sitting up here waiting for more people to get in on the live, since I'm officially live right now, let's go ahead and get the likes up. Ooh, I got a lot of stuff to talk to y'all about tonight, honey. Let's go ahead and get the hearts moving. Let's get some things moving around. Hey, how you doing? I made sure I didn't miss this. You better not have missed it. You better not. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. You made a live. You saying that like you never make a live. Listen, it's so serious that I actually had to write a whole outline that I had to take a snapshot of just to remember all the things that I wanted to discuss. And it's even outlined in the description box. So if y'all want to know what I'm talking about, you can just go to the description box and see all the topics I laid out in the description box. Okay? Sylvester Beer said, peace and blessings. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We're not blessing anything. We're blessing. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Akisha. Alafia DeMarco. Hey, Amani. I see you, girl. It's been a minute. Let's go ahead and get the likes up, please. I greatly appreciate you. Let me get ahead and run this one-liner real quick. You are now listening to Isis Wisdom on Isis Wisdom Live podcast on YouTube, baby. And if you need any quantum healing needs or any energetic healing or cleansings, or if you might need some different type of healing, some quantum healing, log on to my website, isiswisdom.com. Okay? isiswisdom.com. I got a new Cash App because Cash App got on me about they said they wanted me to upgrade to a business account. And then when I sent them all my information for my business, they said, we're sorry, we can't verify you. Call us. So I got to call them to verify, but they were making me upgrade because I guess donations is supposed to be a business. I don't know. But I got a new I got the same Cash App. I just haven't used it in a while. I am the realest to ever. So it's REALEST, the number 2 ever. I am the realest to ever is the Cash App. If you guys are wanting to bless me, I greatly appreciate you for this live. Thank you so much. I'm looking for the snapshot. Okay, yeah. Whew. A lot going on. I got my hair in a little bun. Hey, listen. My hair has grown out so much. My hair had this. I took the braids out, so it had this huge, gigantic fro. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of that. So my hair wasn't cooperating. I couldn't find any of my head wraps for nothing. I don't even know where them things went to. I couldn't find any head wraps. So I said, y'all really just gonna make me just show my hair, huh? There's yep. Show your hair, child. So I had to put my hair up in the bun, put a little bit of gel in it, some little oil on it, you know what I'm saying, until my girl decides she's going to come and braid my hair again. I'm not voting for nobody. I don't even get into that. That's what I want to talk to y'all about. I'm not doing that. Yep, natural, beautifully natural. That's right, baby. Thank you for the compliment. He said, so you look young. Thank you, baby. Abundance, abundance. Are y'all ready? Woo! Because I'm telling y'all, there's some stuff that needs to be talked about today. And there's no way that I got 565 people on this live so far and I only have 211 likes. So I'm going to kindly ask you to hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Yo! All good, all good. Oh, okay. I need to explain a couple. Someone asked me, because I talk about the eclipse that's coming up. There's going to be, I meant to actually add that into the thing. So I am going to talk about this eclipse that's coming up. So all you had to do is just remind me, but it's not going to be the thing I'm going to talk about right now. I want to talk about the other 11 topics that I want to talk to you guys about first. All right. So where do I begin? What if I was to tell you that there is a cosmic book, an original book that was a cosmic book that was written by the prophets? And what if in that cosmic knowledge, the things that you were told about in the Bible isn't really what it actually means? What if the Lord's Prayer wasn't necessarily the Lord's Prayer? It was something else and it said something else. Something else was said other than what they're telling you that was said. Do you know the difference between a God and a Lord? Who was the Lord that they were talking about in the scriptures? The one who actually gave permission, the so-called God that gave permission for the women to be raped and pillaged. Oh yeah, that's in the scriptures too. There is a book that you cannot get access to due to the fact that it would probably cost you about $3,000 a minute to view it. So the Vatican and in Washington, D.C., this book exists where it tells you everything about this world and what this place really is. Okay? But only the wealthy would be able to view something like that because the amount of money that they charge for you to even get access to view it. And they take you into a back room and you're able to open up the book and they put you on a timer. You prepay in advance and they put you on a timer so you can read the information as much as you can within that short period of time. So the best way to get access to that type of information, for those of you that don't know, this information is actually stored inside of your body. It's been stored within your body for a very long time. Most people just didn't know it was stored within the body. It is stored in your DNA. It is stored in your RNA. It is stored of the bloodline of your ancestral lineage that dates all the way back to the cosmos. And you can get access to this information and this knowledge if you tapped into the different aspects of yourself, the different aspects of who you are. So I'm starting this off like that. So I want you guys to understand where I get my information from. I get my information and my knowledge from my own cosmic book. Okay? Due to the many life experiences and reincarnations I've had since my existence, there's a wealth and a plethora of information and knowledge that I can share with you guys based upon experience and wisdom. I'm sharing with you, some of the things I share with you is based upon my own stories from various different lifetimes that I've had and various different experiences that I have. And guess what? You have access to it as well. You are a plethora of knowledge. You literally are a walking, living library, whether or not you guys realize this or not. So if you want a book that you want something to be referenced to, the things I'm going to break down to y'all, you're not going to find in a book. So I want to be clear about that. I'm not versed in other people's stories. Okay? I'm not versed in other people's stories. What I do is I go in to meditation and or communicate with source and or communicate with those different versions of myself to get the information and knowledge to find out if the information and knowledge that's being displayed to me that is written in a book, if that's true or not. Now, y'all know that I have a docuseries coming up called Black Devil. I cannot wait to drop the first 1 hour of this docuseries, which is going to explain to you some things about who we are as originals and what we actually look like prior to coming into this human form. And I want you guys to understand that we did lose a war, and the war was covert. So I'm going to tell you guys how we lost the war in that series, so you can have a clear picture of the place, this planet, that this place is considered to be, quote unquote, a prison planet. I'm going to break that whole thing down so you understand what is in charge and what has been in charge for a very long time. This story of the Black Devil goes all the way back to the old world and then speeds up to the new one. So I want you guys to make sure I put the commercial up. For those of you that didn't see the commercial I put up for Black Devil, make sure you go and check it out. It's on my YouTube. In the videos, no, in the video section. Go to the video section. When I don't go live, I'm still uploading videos. So make sure you keep tabs on the video section of my YouTube channel, because I'm not always going to go live, but I'm always going to post something. Sometimes I might post a live there that I did on Instagram, because I didn't do a live here. So make sure you keep it up to date. All right. In case you guys haven't noticed, the Diddy shit, that's a distraction. Let me just tell you right now, that is a distraction, a huge distraction. That's why you guys haven't saw me touch on that, because I know what that is and why it's being done at the timing that it's being done, several weeks before the elections are supposed to take place. Okay? That is a distraction. At the same time, it is also symbolic of the old structures falling down and tearing apart, because it has to. We said the time was up. You're actually witnessing a weird time. Not just him that's going down, but a lot of executives and CEOs that's been stepping down left and right. Not just from the music business, but various different corporations. You're seeing a change of guard taking place right in front of your face. Don't be surprised if you start seeing a lot of women being placed in these positions of power. There is a transfer of wealth that's taking place from the masculine to the divine feminine. Which brings me to my case in point about this so-called moon that they're calling it a moon. This asteroid that's being purposely dragged in. Purposely being dragged in. That is a distraction as well. But I'm going to tell you what I got to hit on about that. You have great mothers, great cosmic mothers. You have the me, and then you have the cosmic Council of 9 cosmic mothers. You have various different other types of mothers that are now setting motion to ensure that a female gets into office concerning this presidency. And it should happen. So when you start seeing these things coming into play with planetary alignments and things like that, or you see different things being brought in, they're telling you various different things. I'm going to tell you what's going on part of the way. Number one, the artificial sun is in the process of being removed. It has been running sequences for quite some time. And the sequences that it is running is to shut down and destroy itself and all of the artificial systems that are tied to the artificial structure of the moon, also has to go. Now, if you're expecting some type of big woo-ha out of that, that's not quite exactly how that works. So it's going to be systematically destroyed over a period of time, but that's what's happening. So Luna now could come forth and take its place. That's number one. The real moon that we have. A divine feminine moon that we have. That's number one. Number two. With them bringing in this extra asteroid, feminine energy that they're bringing forth, and to ensure that a female takes place, gets the presidency, it has a lot to do with the fate of what's going to take place on this planet if that does not happen. This is bigger than just politics in the way that you know it. Because you have warmongering entities that know that their time is up, that are looking to start a war on the entire planet. No. Will there be nuclear weapons released? No. The angelics will make sure that there will not be any type of nuclear weapons taking off on this planet or that it lands anywhere. Okay? Y'all don't have to worry about a nuclear war. That's just talk. That's scare talk. Okay? Now, EMP weapons, that's something different. Okay? That's something different. Weather warfare, that's something different. The tomahawks, missiles, that's something different. The stealth bombers and all the other crap that they got, that's something different. Do they have space warcraft? Yes, they do. Are they going to use it? Yes, they will. That's something different. So you're going to have a galactic war possibly taking place on this planet with the superpowers on this planet. Possibly. Possibly. Because they all have galactic ships. All of them. And we'll have you out your mind thinking it's something else when it's one of our own. See, what they do in the United States is they purposely keep you behind in technology. But when you go to places like Tokyo, Japan, or you go to places over in China and you go to different places around the world, that's not the United States, you're going to see that their systems are a lot more advanced because they actually take their taxpayer money and actually develops things within the city to keep upgraded within the technology, where the United States wants to keep things held back so they can keep profiting. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about here, and I'm going to be very real with you. What will happen if Donald Trump gets into office? What will happen if Kamala Harris and or another female takes over and gets into office? What will happen? I can tell you right now, if the divided feminine gets into office, there isn't going to be any warring. But if Donald Trump gets into office, there will be some warring. Now, I know some of y'all are Trump fans, and I get it and all that, but I don't think you guys have a full understanding, especially if you're watching mainstream media, because they lie about everything. You got to get your news in other places. But I don't think you guys are having a full understanding of what that means if that man gets back into office. Because remember, he's pro-Israel. You have to remember this. He's pro-Israel. He's pro-Zionist. The Zion programming is destructing right now, right in front of your faces. Okay? It's destructing right now in front of your faces. With him protecting that energy, and with Israel and what they're doing to other countries overseas, that is going to cause a World War III. The warmongering masculine energy, the war programming has got to go. The patriarchy in the way that it's been playing itself out and its destruction has to go. Period. There are so many people that have died on this planet over eons and millennia of time because of this. And I want you guys to understand something. There's been a war going on between the divine feminine and the divine masculine since the old world. And I'm going to talk about that in that documentary I'm going to be doing. I'm going to let you know what even caused it in the first place. But things can't continue to keep going on as they have. That means that for those of you who are currently living in the United States, it's going to get real uncomfortable for you. It's going to get uncomfortable. Because the way that you know life to be, because you've been operating, we all have been operating in this matrix system before some of us got to a place of awareness where we decided that we were going to remove ourselves out of it to the best of our ability as much as we could, detach ourselves from it. There are still a great many people that are still attached to that system that does not want to let it go. So let me tell you what's happening right now for those of you who do not want to let it go. I want you to listen to me very carefully. The underworld has opened itself up. The first dimension, the second dimension have merged. And now it's merging in with the third dimension. I want you to be clear about what I'm saying to you. This is imperative. There is a good bit of the third dimension that has been systematically destroyed. There is a part of it that is still there because people will not let it go. So let me explain to you what's going to happen to the people who do not let it go. If you can't let this go, that energy that is coming up into that third dimension is going to swallow your asses whole. What do you mean? What do I mean when I say that? There are portals that have opened up on Earth, all over the plane of Earth and the center part of the Earth. There have been tons and tons of portals that have opened up for shadow beings to come in. These shadow beings are not your ordinary shadow beings, and some of you guys may have been seeing them. These shadow beings are not your ordinary shadow beings, and what they're doing is they're bringing things in from the underworld into this world. If there are non-playable characters, NPCs, they're taking over their bodies immediately. Further, in the astrals, for those of you that are in the dream state, and you have not raised your frequency, and you're still operating in the unhealed state, you may be subject to getting attachments on your body. It is going to get deep for a lot of people. It's going to come to a point to where the individuals who chose not to heal are going to succumb to it, even to the point to where they're going to accept it so it can empower them. There's a lot of you out here that's been calling yourselves chosen ones. I think you better take some time out to find out who really chose you. That is ego-based. So who chose you? What are you chosen for? Chosen ones, have you healed? Have you been doing your shadow work, chosen ones? Because if you haven't done any kind of healing and you're calling yourself a chosen one, well then who or what chose you? And for what purpose? Listen, I don't care at this point in terms of this presidency bullshit. Because at the end of the day, that's going to fall apart. That whole thing, the way that they do everything is going to fall apart. That's going to change. If you're listening to anything that I'm saying, you wouldn't even get caught up in that bullshit. I need y'all to raise your frequency and go beyond what you're seeing, because this is spiritual warfare that we're talking about here. So when I hear you say, I don't want to hear this talk or that talk, I'm going to need you to tune your frequency and your ears up to a higher frequency so you can see what's going on the macro level, and not you majoring in the minor of things that don't make a difference. This is spiritual warfare. And a lot of you are not prepared for what's coming in right now. There is no more waiting. It is happening right now. I hope you guys hear me. This is happening right now, in real time. And not enough distractions in the world is going to distract you from what is coming. No, what is already here. Because you were given an ample amount of time. There was a lot of us out here that were sounding off the whistles and telling you guys, you got to hear. If you go back and listen to the last live, I sat down and go the whole breakdown about why I was telling y'all to do that. So you could be prepared for what's here now. You got beings that are showing themselves as humans and they're not humans. They're not humans. They're not what you even think that they are. And if you don't have the ability to discern who and what it is you're talking to, because you didn't take the time out to heal yourself, what are you going to do? Because if you're too much in your mind, you're going to make the wrong move. And if you don't have the ability to feel, how are you going to discern it properly? So your mind will have you running around up in here all the time, all up in here, second guessing yourself and stuff like that. That's because because you're not healing. You're not in the heart space to discern properly. So I'm going to ask you again, chosen ones, who and what chose you if you have not actively healed? And what did they choose you for? For those of you, I mentioned in the last live, I talked about how there was, wow, there's a lot of people on this live tonight. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. There ain't no way in the hell I got this many people on there's hella people on this live. Y'all need to go ahead and get the likes up for me, please. I really appreciate it. Gratitude for those who support me. That's one of the ways you can support me. I want you guys to have an understanding about what's happening right now, because I can't stress enough. The 3D is being systematically destroyed right now. And it will be 4th, 5th, and 6th. But even those that are in the 4th dimension, if you guys are not actively healing, you're not going to be able to last there for very long. You will fall back into 3, wherever 3 is. Some of you are already being transitioned over into a whole different dimension already. And that's where a lot of those people are going. They're going to be sent to a whole different dimension. Y'all going to be sent someplace else. And not in the higher realms. Because you're choosing not to heal. You can't be in the higher realms if you're not actively healing. That's just not the way that works. I don't know what you guys have been seeing. I don't know what you guys have been experiencing out there. And this only applies to those who are not healing. This does not apply to those who are healing. This does not apply to those who are putting in the work. This does not apply to any of these people. Okay? They're experiencing a total different reality. A whole different reality. And for those of you that haven't been healing, that think you can shift yourself out of some shit, let me explain to you how this works. I did a big timeline shift event on the 17th of this month. That thing was crazy. There were some people that jumped from the 3rd to the 4th, and then some folks jumped from the 4th to the 5th, and only 3 people jumped from the 5th to the 6th. I was one of the 3 that jumped from the 5th to the 6th. Because of me helping, you go up in timelines every time you go out of your way to help someone. Okay? Now, Source made it very clear, very clear, for those of them that have gotten into the 5th dimension and they have not actively healed, they're going to be forced to deal with themselves. So some of them started dealing with themselves afterwards. Some of them was crying their eyeballs out. Some of them was going through all types of stuff. And I said, I warned you and I told you this was going to happen. Because you can't carry around all them bags with you when you're in an unhealed state. So for those of you that haven't been actively healing, what dimension you think you operating on? For those of you that are caught up in the distractions, what dimension do you think you're operating on? The timeline shift is still on my website, isiswisdom.com. Download the app as well, but you can go to the website. You're going to have to pay for a membership on the website. I'm not playing with y'all about that. So if you want to get on the website, it's $5.55 a month. You can go in there and you can get ahead and you can get it there. It's in the Quantum Level Healing Center. You can purchase it right then and there, and y'all can get to it. But if you're not actively healing, I would be very careful, because you're going to have the energy of all 400 people that was on that live. That's going to push you into them higher timelines. But if you're not actively healing, you will be confronted with self on a different level. So be prepared for that. Because the work that I do is not for the play. I don't play. Okay, I ain't got time for yeah, I ain't got time for low vibrational people. If you're a low vibrational, you gotta go. And yeah, Untitled Truth, you gotta go, baby. You gotta go. All right. The app name, go to Spaces. If you have Android, go to Spaces by Wix, and then look for isiswisdom.com on that app, and then apply, and then I have to approve you to get on the app. And then you would just go to Paul Cartier. I got some trolls on here. Get rid of them. Then you could go on there and you can get it on the app. You go into shop when you get on the app, and you can purchase it right there to shift yourself out. Make sure before you do anything with the timeline shifting, make sure that you please write down on paper how you want to experience your new timeline when you shift into it. Do not go into this not writing anything down, because it's not going to work properly. You're going to have to write out what you want to experience in your timeline. Be very specific with details. Also, make sure that you write in how you want to come into your new timeline. But remember what I said. If you're not actively healing, your source is not going to play with y'all. Okay? $5.55, guys. I mean, come on now. Come on. Y'all killing me right now. Get out of here with the antics. You're welcome. Thank you, King Chains. I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you. Okay. I mentioned to you guys about the helicopters. So also let me make you guys aware of what's happening with that, because I really want to drive this home. People are coming back to me left and right now telling me that they're seeing helicopters, and this isn't a joke. Some people are being chased. There's a lot of things that are going on. There are also a lot of activity that's taking place with the Greys, where they are chasing people left and right. There are tracking devices that are stored either at the bottom of your feet or different parts of the body. There are tracking devices. Anybody that's born into the Matrix, there is a tracking device. Now, do not look at this from a 3D perspective when I say tracking device. I told you this is spiritual warfare and interdimensional being warfare. So when you're dealing with that type of spiritual warfare and you're dealing with extraterrestrial beings, when they put implants within the body, okay, no doctor is going to see this. Okay, they're not going to see it. They're not even trained to even recognize this stuff. I'm one of the few people that's bold enough to come out and talk about it. There's other people that talked about implants. Think back to when you watched The Matrix. Let's go back and let's take it on back to when you watched The Matrix. The very first Matrix. Do you guys remember when Neo got scooped up by those men in black, the dudes with the shades on? Okay, yes, they are real. They are the Matrix version of an agency. That is a real thing. That's number one. Number two, if you remember that scene when Neo was gripped up by those agents and he laid him flat down on the table and you saw them pull out this thing, it was an implant and they put it inside his navel. Yes, they are real. Some of you guys get implants stored in the food because of the stuff that they're spraying in the skies. They have been implanting this stuff all throughout the food supply. These things can make you feel like you're old as hell. You could be young. You could be 31 years old and feel like you're 60 years old because these things are a certain type of technology and AI that is placed in the body that you're consuming. The Animus is no joke. If you don't know about the Animus, go watch the 18-minute trailer I did about the Animus on my YouTube channel and go check it out so you understand what's happening here. Y'all don't have time to be being behind the 8 ball. I did that a year ago. Nanotechnology, that is correct. And now they're finding a lot of nanotechnology that is in your body. It's in the food that you're consuming. Who do you think they got the nanotechnology from, guys? I'm going to need you to start thinking. What is it, or who is it, that is at war with humanity? Because it most certainly isn't another human. That's what I need you guys to wake up to. They run your police forces. They're your judges. They're your school teachers. They're your lawyers. They're your prosecutors. They're your nurses. They're your pharmacists. They're everywhere. Now, there's two ways that this happens. There's two ways that this happens. Because some of you have grays in your bloodline and don't even know you have grays. Some of y'all are grays on this live right now and don't even know you're a gray. One way is the aspect that's at the forefront that you have no knowledge about as it pertains to you and your vessel. If you were healing and you were raising your frequency and you were doing your meditations and you were open-minded enough to come out of the box of the things that you were taught your entire life, and you decide that you're going to open yourself up and expand your level of consciousness, this information will come to you about yourself. They walk amongst us. That is correct. But I want you to understand there's two ways that this happens. One way that this happens, you have extraterrestrial entities that come over and take over the vessel. That's well, actually 3 ways. That's one way that it happens. Another way that it happens is if you're not paying attention to who you're sleeping with. Ladies, if you're not paying attention to who you're sleeping with, and you get pregnant to something, that's another way. Then there's the aspect way. We're coming more and more into a galactic reality, whether or not you guys are aware of this or not. With the things that are coming down the pipeline, unity is going to be more important than anything else at this time. Let's go ahead and get the likes up, guys. I got 1,700 people on this live. Let's go ahead and get the likes up. And peace and blessings to everyone that's here. I appreciate y'all for coming to support me and to listen to what I have to say tonight. I really do greatly appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your support. October the 2nd brings in the Armageddon. Not the Armageddon, the tribulation period starts. Now, because they pulled so much information from many different books, I'm just going to need y'all to bear with me here when I point these things out to you, please. Do not come at me sideways about I don't believe in the Bible. I says you please don't do that. Don't do that. I need you to listen to me carefully because I don't even have time. There's not enough time in a day for me to sit there and explain all this stuff to you. You would have had to did your research. You would have had to find out the other information, the other pieces of the puzzle and all that. You would have to put some things together. Listen carefully. I told you guys, I think at my last live, we're in the year 2124. We are not in 2024. That's number one. We are not in 2024. We're in the year 2124. We are 100 years ahead than what they told us. That's number one. Number two, I know a lot of y'all like to hold on to this Gregorian calendar, but we should be operating off a 13-month calendar, 28 days. Which comes to 364 days, not 365. So they messed up the time by altering the actual cosmic calendar that actually already has existed. I want you guys to understand what these oceans are. Every single water source that you see on this planet stores information about the history of this place. All the water stores information. You have earth records. You got the Akashic records. You got the earth records. You got the water records. Don't know if y'all knew anything about this. There are water beings that you can get in touch with that can give you information. Now, this is some deep level shit right here. So you guys got to know understand the level I'm operating on so you can understand where I'm at. Water holds information. The oceans hold information. If you spent more time in the water, you would begin to start receiving that information. A lot of y'all missed the diamond codes that were in the water this year. You could literally see the diamonds in the water, the sparkling diamonds in the water where you're supposed to be getting your diamond codes. The sun is giving out codes right now onto the body. The same sun that I'm experiencing down here in Mexico is not the same sun that's inside the United States right now. Those are two different suns. And the sun over in Nigeria, West Africa ain't the same sun as the one that's in the US or the one that's in Mexico. Not the same suns. The easiest way for you to experience the 5D sun was when the sun first rises in the morning for those of you who live along the coast. When the sun first rises in the morning, that's when you're going to see the 5D sun because you're going to notice the color of it. You're going to notice that orangish hue. For those that are in the US, you're going to notice that orangish hue. You're going to notice when it first comes up, it looks like a flame. As it's rising up and up and up and up, then you start to see it change colors. This is when it transitions over to Nemesis. And now the sun looks white. For those of you that have spiritual hearing, you have the ability to communicate to these planetary bodies. And they will communicate back. For those of you that have that spiritual ear, you hear through here, actually, through the first eye. That's when you hear. I don't know where you guys' level of hearing is, and I don't know what your level of spirituality is, and I don't know what your level of openness is. So some of this stuff that I'm saying may go over some of you guys' head. I know some of you guys are here because you want to be entertained. But I'm going to let you know right now, there's nothing entertaining about this at all. There's nothing entertaining about this because a lot of people's lives are about to be on the line. Right now, you guys are witnessing A potential strike that's going to take place in the ports on the side of the United States and main ports at that. Do you guys have any idea of what it's going to look like if these people go on strike on Tuesday? Do you have any idea what that's going to look like in an already inflated economy? Can you even begin to imagine what that's going to look like for people living in the United States? Well, let me give you the rundown, because I know some of you guys are still caught up in things that you're still distracted. But let me give you the rundown. You guys are already feeling the heat with the inflation of products as it is, right? If there's no products that's being brought in through those main ports where they're saying 45,000 people are about to go on a strike, you're not even going to be able to afford to get something to eat. What does that mean? You think this isn't being done on purpose? You think this wasn't orchestrated? Did you read Agenda 2030 that was created by the World Economic Forum? Or do you still think that's a joke too? If you think it's a joke, go on ahead and read the 2030 agenda so you're clear. What is it going to look like? You're not even going to be able to afford a bottle of water. What is it going to look like? People are going to be fighting each other for resources. What is it going to look like? Chaos and pandemonium, because people have to survive. People have to eat. What is it going to look like? People robbing one another. What is it going to look like? Right now, I'm putting out this warning to you all, and listen to me carefully. The only way that you're going to make it through this, if these people go on strike, is that you're going to have to unify. You're going to have to unify. You're going to have to put all your differences aside. Whatever your prejudice differences, I don't give a damn what the issues are. But you're going to have to come together, and you're going to have to unify. There's no getting around it. And when it hits the United States, it's going to come in waves. Starting with the East Coast. It's going to come in waves. So let's say those of you that are on the East Coast, y'all going to get hit first before it hits the Midwest. And it's just going to continue to keep traveling out further and further and further out. Texas might be able to sustain itself because it controls its borders, and they have ports that actually can support the state of Texas. So they actually might be able to make something happen there. Texas doesn't need the United States to survive on its own. And from my understanding is that there's talk about a succession with Texas where they're going to close off their borders and secede from the Union. And then other states are going to follow. But Texas is the only state that I know of right now that has the ability to sustain itself without no other parts of the country getting involved. So I think that the people in Texas are going to be okay. But in terms of every place else, for those of you that are on that East Coast, y'all are going to be in trouble. There is going to be another migration that is going to take place inside the United States. I'm telling y'all right now, there is going to be a migration that is going to take place. And I just told you one of the states you better be heading towards. Costco today had 5 times the amount of water they usually have, and people were stacking up. And why would that be? Why would that be? This is about your survival now. You guys do what you will with the information. I'm here just to disseminate the information and give it to you to make you guys aware. But starting October the 2nd begins the Great Tribulation period. That's not going to be a good look. Because with the tribulation period comes a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. Now, is there going to be a savior coming in? Absolutely not. But there is going to be a period of suffering because the United States is in its first karmic year. But we were misled when we were told that we were in the 8th year. We're actually in the 9. The completion of the old system. The ending of the old system and how things used to be done. Go listen to my 2024 predictions. The first one I did. I got the second coming. I got the second one, part 2, coming up. Because remember, I operate from spring to spring. I don't operate from January to January. I operate from spring to spring as it pertains to the new year. I don't play them. I don't play those games. Okay. So starting in October, I'm going to run a little commercial for the 2024 predictions part 2. Look for that because I'll be doing that live here on YouTube. Now, someone made a comment that said that they're happy that it's falling down. Let me go ahead and break this down to you originals because you guys don't understand what you're doing when you say these things. You see, it is the collective consciousness that is bringing everything down. The collective wants this thing to end in the manner of warfare and destruction. What if I were to tell you, as a collective, that if you change your mindset from the death programming, you could shift it out from death and destruction to living harmoniously? You see, there has been a lot of programs that's been installed into the collective consciousness through social media, through the phones, through the computers, through these big screen TVs. There has been systematic programming that has been running through everybody's minds. And that systematic program has been the death program, the destruction program. So for those of you that are listening, let me ask you this. Why does everything have to fall and everything has to be destroyed? What if you guys came together on a collective level and shifted this thing out into something else? Did you know that you had the power to change that? Did you know you don't have to deal with doom and gloom and destruction? Did you know you didn't have to do that? That you can come together and shift out? I did it with damn near 400 people on the 17th. We shifted out. Did you know that you have the power to do the same thing on a collective level, to shift it out? And what you do is you include the collective into your shifting out so they can come too. What if, look, let's see, I got 1,902 people on this live right now. What if all 2,000 of you guys decided today that whatever doom and gloom and whatever reality they're trying to create for you, that they no longer have the power to do that to you anymore? And you decided on a conscious collective level at the same damn time, you're not going to live the reality that they want to create for you. Because all they do is they put that stuff in front of your face, manipulate you so they can create the reality that they want you to experience. That's how this works. That's called high-level magic. They're just putting things in front of you. And then you feed into it. What if you just said, you know what? What if all 2,000 of you, I'm going to tell y'all, this will cause a planetary shift. Y'all want to create a planetary shift? This would cause literally an entire planetary shift. If all of you came together right now and said, we're going to shift this bitch right on up out of here. Excuse my language. Y'all down? Y'all want to create a planetary shift and shift this thing right on up out of here? I just want to see something right quick. You guys were never powerless. You thought you were. Your ancestors are all around every single one of y'all on this live right now. Boom! Let the ancestors come forth for everybody else on this live. I need all the ancestors come forth. Feel all the energy of the ancestors coming around you right now. And support. Y'all feel that energy? Do y'all feel the energy of your ancestors? Yes, you feel the chills. Because it's the God in me that's speaking into the gods of y'all. The God in me is talking to the gods in y'all. I need y'all to wake up. Now here's what y'all gonna do. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Source. Let's go ahead and put a protective covering every single person over this live. Boom! Feel the energy of the shield coming over your bodies right now. We're gonna lock in for those who are ready to shift it out. And for those who want to distract that, they're encased within their own energy. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to come together as a collective right now. And we're going to shift out. I was at 1900. Look, it jumped to 1888. Boom, boom. Y'all peeping that? Peep that. They got up off of there quick. They got up off of there quick. They got up off of there quick. Y'all ready for that? Y'all feel y'all within your own energy? Y'all feel that force field around y'all? Do y'all feel that force field around y'all? Uh-oh, the numbers went back up. Source, anybody new coming in, go ahead and place the force field over them right now. Boom. All right. Now, what you're going to do is, in this particular case, we're not going to do everything I did on that video. We're just going to do one thing. We're going to visualize. We're going to visualize a beautiful new earth. I want you to start visualizing you being on a new earth. I want you to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. I don't want you to speak out loud, and I want you to repeat these words after me. As you're visualizing this new earth, you're going to say, Source, I want to experience a reality along with my collective of peace, love, harmony. People that are no longer struggling. Peoples whose bodies are healing. No harm is coming to these people. Now visualize yourself being in this peaceful planet, because I'm about to shift y'all into a parallel earth right now. Visualize it. Visualize it. Feel it. So I want myself, my family, and my collective to be prosperous, to be healthy, to be happy, to be at peace, to be war-free, to be struggle-free. Now visualize those people in your earth. Visualize these people in your earth. Do you see them? We're no longer fighting, say Source, we're no longer fighting over our differences. We're coming together as unity, in unity. Visualize. Now say, Source, move me into the timeline of my creation of this beautiful parallel earth. Because this is the reality that I want myself, my family, and the collective to experience. Then say, and so it is. Put your heart into it, feel it, see it. Okay, Source, let's go ahead and take them over. Boom! Hara hora mo kutina lo ku shamo kutata katu raka niki katu tu tu ku. Wahapo raka mo kutu rana ko raka kia chuku turuku tumuku tuku tuku. Hush, nereka ho hamuko na lile la kutu. Bora kama momukuti kikia nato de akutu na bukuta lea la katoko na yasho. Mora maka ia. Rahara na kotutu de makotutu maka kiki. You are not beholding unto anyone else. You are Source. On the collective, you have the power. Now feel that shift taking place on this planet right now. You always include the collective consciousness when we're doing this. You always include the collective when you're doing any of this work. Because you give, you shall receive. You shall give. You ask for a blessing, you shall receive the blessing, but you're going to share that blessing. You feel the energy, Harrison Ford Jr.? Someone said the sun is shining brighter now. That is correct, because you all got shifted into a parallel earth. Now, make sure you tell hella people about this live. Now, this isn't on the level of what I did on the 17th. Y'all gonna have to cop that video. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna have you jumping dimensions. Y'all gonna have to cop that video. But what we just did here today, you guys can get your friends, sit down with them in groups, and have them participate. Spread the video far and wide. Someone said I felt dizzy. Yeah, you gotta get rid of them bags, baby. You're too heavy. Wow, look at those likes. Nuts. Let's go ahead and continue to keep getting the likes up. Let's continue to keep getting the likes up. Yes, all versions of you did ascend. That is correct. And this is what I mean. How you affect your reality, how you affect the versions of yourself. When you ascend, so do they. When you ascend, so does your ancestors. But your ancestors live within inside of you. So when you ascend, so do they. Now you did something big for the collective tonight. Someone said, I feel peace within my heart. Someone said, I got butterflies in my stomach. Gratitude to Source for your assistance. Thank you. Gratitude, Tyra. You see, over here, it's vibrational frequencies over here, baby. Later for that other stuff. Later for that other stuff. I just wanted to show y'all because a lot of y'all don't believe in yourselves. You know, it took a long time, even for myself, to get to that space. But when I did get to that space, that was a wrap. You gotta be in believing and knowing at this stage in your life now. No more hope. We don't do hope around here. We believe and we know. And actually, we're in the age of knowing. I'm simply here to help you and assist you as a guide for you to get on your individual path, whatever it is that you're trying to go to, whatever it is that you're trying to do for yourself. I just want to show you that you had an opportunity and a choice of what you were going to experience. A timeline shift is you simply shifting yourself into a different parallel Earth. Now, there's a lot of things that's not going to come to y'all. That's going to come to those who are unhealed. You're going to see it, but it's not going to affect you. You're going to witness it. It's not going to affect you. Just stay out the way. You'll see it. You're going to see people go through things. But it's not going to affect you because you're not operating on the same earth that they're operating on. This is what the collective is supposed to do, and shift themselves right on up out of here. Thank you to the Most High Creator God, the Source. I'm so appreciative of you. Boom. Someone says, I'm neutral and unaffected. You won't be affected by anything. Watching others go away, and you will. And you will. I watched, I was kind of crazy to see how when people shifted off the live real quick when it got too real for them, because my energy is not to be played with. My energy is a frequency. Even you guys mentioning my name operates on a certain frequency now. So even when you say my name, depending on how you're speaking on my name, that can be a blessing to you or it could backfire on you. Now, I want to touch on a couple more things. You guys heard me speak on this before, but I'm going to speak on this again because you guys, for those of you that have, if you have quantum healing businesses, if you have healing businesses at all, I don't know who some of you are. Some of you may have healing businesses. Some of you guys may be into doing your thing in any way to assist the collective in any way. Listen to me, originals. You have a sector of the alphabet agency that is sending in their people to come in and infiltrate. What they're trying to do is learn what you know, then take it and try to distort it, and then teach it to others through distortion. Okay? Now, I protect my shit. I protect all of my stuff. My stuff is encrypted. So what they think is going to work for them ain't going to work for them. Okay? But I want to put you guys up on game about that because the techniques and the tactics that they're utilizing is they're telling you they're one name, but then there's something else. So you're going to have to do some checks on that. Even if you got to talk to source, the source sees and knows all. But they're using certain type of tactics where they're giving out names, but then it turns out that ain't even who they are. They're using different people's names. So when you go and do checks, they're using different people's names. And something may be going on with that person. You're going to pick up on that person, but you're not picking up on the person who's in front of your face. Okay? So they use trickery. So make sure that you're getting clarity before anyone comes and gets any services from you all. Make sure you're getting super clarity and make sure your protections are up in such a way. You can even work with your ancestors. They can bust all their shit out. But I did want to put you guys up on game because they're all up and down the so-called conscious community. They're all through, okay? They're all through and through. You don't know who's who, and some of these people, just because they look like you, are not you. Just because they have brown skin does not mean that they're an original. Some people are not originals. Some of these folks are dissenters. Some of these folks are enemies of your bloodline. And you don't even know they're enemies of your bloodline, but your ancestors going to let you know that. Just because they look like you don't mean they are you. Come up out of the color spell. Because y'all been under the color spell too long. Y'all been playing identity politics for too long. Don't get caught up that just because someone looks like you, they are you. Because 9 times out of 10, the individuals who are moving against you in that way are your enemies and have been your enemies for quite some time. All you got to do is check and say, hey, what? I need to know what tribe or what ancestors had an issue with this person right here, or these people like this person. Okay? And they're going to give you the whole rundown. Yes, at Oni Osunsina. They said there is a Odu Ifa Owanra Mehi. It's called the reverse head. Intentionally sent to lead your Ori away from your destiny. Boom, that is correct. And thank you for dropping that Odu, sir. Or ma'am. We don't care about no Diddy over here. The Moors, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, and they may be aware, they may not be aware, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna let you know right now, they were the ones that held the keys to the destruction of the originals. And I'm gonna talk about that in my docu-series. It's gonna, you guys need to understand that these are the same people that also infiltrated Egypt and placed themselves as Egyptian gods. These Moors are also known as Anunnaki. Okay? But that's a different discussion for a different day. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm saying that black nobility is not what you think that it is. What I'm saying to you is, if you guys only understood who's running the military industrial complex, it would blow, your minds would be so far out here twisted That's going to be revealed in the documentary. How we are still suffering to this day from certain things that have taken place with individuals that look like us that are not us. They are not us. There are certain factions that have been placed right in front of our faces. That's so crazy. Ooh. There are certain factions that's been placed in front of our faces. Organizations, very big, well-established organizations that have been strategically placed to quell down the originals. These people are not you. But they pretend like they're for you by identifying you by a false identity that you're not and continuing to call you that and then acting like they're the leader of you when they are nothing like you. Isn't that interesting how that works? Nobody can lead an original. An original is a primordial God in of itself. So you fell into the programming and you thought you needed a leader. But innately something's telling you that you do not need to be led. For those of you that know that don't need to be led, when you know innately you don't need to be led, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you directly. For those originals that's on this live right now that know for a fact that they don't need to be led, that they lead themselves, I'm talking directly to you. When you break the spell of feeling the need to be led by somebody else, when you finally break that spell within self, where you begin to trust thyself, if you don't trust yourself, then go heal that. Because there's some trauma that happened to you a long time ago that knocked you off your square about you trusting yourself, and you haven't healed from that. So you run around out here like a chicken with your head cut off, being led to slaughter by a wolf in sheep's clothing. But some of you innately know how to lead yourselves. You don't need nobody leading you. I don't participate in the voting system because I don't look to anybody outside of me to lead me anywhere. That's the gag. That's the lies. That's the spell to make you think that you're so weak and you're so powerless that you need to be led. Let me ask you a question. When has a leader not failed? That is a program that's placed in the conscious collective, telling them that you need someone to lead you. You need someone to tell you what to do. You need someone. No, you don't. So that was all played off in the days of when we were prisoners of war. And we're still, some of us are still prisoners of war. Not slaves. Not slavery. That's another lie. I said prisoners of war. We were never slaves. Our ancestors were prisoners of war. Let me shift your perspective a little bit. And that's been going on since the old world. So y'all ain't ready for me to drop these jewels that I want to drop on your head, but you're going to have to wait for that documentary to come out, because that documentary is going to blow your wig back. It's going to blow your wig back. Well, your haters always follow and listen to everything that you say and do. They got to keep up with you now. Because they look for things, they try to find things that they can utilize against you, and then try to take that and use that against you and all that. And they don't realize you don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't care. So I like it when people make. I like it when people got me rent free in their headspace, honey. That tells me I got control over their mind. I like it when people let me know I got control over their mind, honey. This is the end of an age. I'm really concerned about this thing taking place on the 2nd. Now, I also need you guys to remember we already had the completion of the Great American Eclipse that took place. The first eclipse took place on the 17th when it came from the West Coast to the East Coast. And then it came up again on April the 8th when it was the black sun that eclipsed that sun. It was a black sun. It wasn't the moon. It was a black sun that eclipsed that thing. But that was also the beginning of the Great Split. Now, we're coming into another solar eclipse. These planetary alignments and the way these things are set up. I'm going to say this to y'all. You're really going to have to get on your P's and Q's. Dot your I's and cross your T's and keep your head on a swivel. There's going to be more revelation. But there's going to be an energy of survival in place for some. There's going to be some rioting taking place. You're going to witness that. Now, I want to share this with you. The gentleman, was it Marcellus Williams? Is that his name? The brother who got executed in Missouri? Is that his name? Is that his name? Who's the brother that got executed in Missouri? Because I wanted to talk about that. So I can explain to you guys what that was. That's his name, Marcellus Williams? Okay. Let me give you guys some rundown. Now, this shit's about to get super deep. This is about to get real deep for y'all. So I'm gonna need you guys to bear with me here for a second. First of all, that was an execution. That's number one. We know this was an execution. However, it was the intent of those individuals to send a covert message to the originals of what they plan on doing to us if we get caught up in their systems, whether you have DNA evidence of it, whether you committed the crime or you didn't. There was a ritual that took place. Now, we're going to pause right there because of their intent of what they decided, what they wanted to do. There's going to be havoc that's going to come down on that city. Now, let me shift it. I talked to Source about his contract because there is a such thing as a person contracting to have certain experiences. Let me give you an example. When I pulled down his contract, I saw that in a previous lifetime, he had caused a lot of harm to the originals in a previous lifetime. So in order for him to balance out his karma, he chose to have this experience of him being executed. Now, some of you are going to say, what the F? Yes, that is a real thing. That is a very real thing. When he passed on from the previous lifetime and he had discussions with Source, he needed to balance out his energy. He balanced out his energy when he sacrificed himself in this lifetime. However, because those reptilians in those hardcore grades set out the intent to send a message to us and the way that they have, watch what happens to them. Watch what happens to that governor. Watch what happens to them judges. Watch what happens to everybody involved. They did get a payout from his death. I want you guys to understand that anytime that they execute an original, number one, not only to harvest the energy, but also they get a certain amount. There are several people involved in networks that get a certain amount of payout. These networks are your judges, your teachers, your prosecutors, your pharmacists, your clerks of the court, your normal everyday people that are in certain types of positions are also playing a role in receiving the payout when an original gets executed. It is a long network. Now, these individuals are tied to a KKK central network. Who are the KKK? They are the Greys. You never heard it explained to you in this way before. They are the Greys. These are some hardcore Greys that have a serious issue with the originals. And I also want to make you guys understand, when the originals lost that war, I need you guys to understand that there were several factions of beings that moved against the originals. I want you to understand this. The originals have been hated for a very long time. This is cosmic hate. This has been going on since the cosmos. So I'm going to start pointing out to you organizations and what that is and what's really going on there, so you can open up your eyes to a different thing that's happening around you. I'm going to open up your eyes. I'm going to continue to keep opening up your eyes so you know what you're looking at. And I will also help you spot out the archons within your community that are placed in your community to project themselves to be one thing, but there's something totally, completely different. They are archons. And because you do not know how to discern the energy of these individuals, because you don't have your heart space open, because you're running around here unhealed, you follow what you're attracted to. All I got to do is take a look at your friends to know what you're about. I see some of you originals are making some different moves. Smart to expand yourselves out. Congratulations, you figured it out. Let me make sure you guys are clear. When this solar flash happens, it is going to be a solar flash of unconditional love that is going to shoot down upon this planet. It is going to wipe out anything that is not natural and anyone who is not operating in their heart space. I'm going to say this shit again so we're clear. It is going to wipe out anything that is not natural and anyone who is not operating out of their heart space, because you cannot be a part of Tara with that heaviness on you. You got folks creating bunkers. You know why? You know why they're creating those bunkers? Because they know what's going on with that sun. Ra is in the Middle East right now. He's in the Middle East right now, assessing with the rest of his sun brothers across the planet. Every sun will participate in this solar flash. Anything that is not natural to the planet, anyone who is not operating in their heart space. So it doesn't matter what your genetics are. Make sure you're clear. And some of you ain't going to like that, but it doesn't matter. What good does it do you if you have the genetics to withstand the sun, but you don't have the heart space open to withstand unconditional love? And that's why I said to you, genetics doesn't matter. And y'all had a whole conniption fit. Some of y'all had a whole hissy fit about that. She don't know what she talking about. She talking about genetics. Okay, what genetics got to do with your heart space? Are you healed? Are you healed? Are you healing? Are you out here gossiping about people? Are you out here talking down about people? Are you out here causing division amongst the people? Because if you are, you got to go. That's why I said to you a long time ago, there's going to be people that don't look like you that's going to survive this great solar flash because they're operating in their heart space. Now you do with that what thou will. Get your heart space open, babies. You ain't going to survive in no higher timelines and your heart space ain't open, baby. Somebody lied to y'all. There ain't nobody out here teaching y'all or telling y'all you got to go heal. They're misleading you. I'm telling y'all this is what y'all got to do. Now, for there's some that don't want to elevate themselves. There are some that are content with being in an unhealed space, and that's fine. But you know what they say about misery? Misery loves company. So they're just going to attract more of who and what they are to themselves. But just remember, you chose that. No one chose that for you. You chose that for yourself. And nobody is going to be held to your shit. You made that conscious decision to accept that. Do what thou will. Just don't have the expectation of anything else other than what you're getting. Same spirit, individual thinking. Boom. And you got a lot of people out here that run around here trauma bonding. I suffer from this trauma. I suffer from this trauma too. Okay, well, let's be friends. Like, you can't be friends. Trauma bonding is the one thing you don't want to do. That's the last thing that you want to do. You run around with a bunch of unhealed people, and you think some kind of way you're going to make it up out of that? How? Sometimes, babies, you got to know how to change your social circles. And that sometimes you got to know how to shift your family members around too. Okay? You know, they say crabs in the barrel. Yeah, crabs in the barrel. It's that. But what you're really dealing with here, let me break it on down for you. What you're really dealing with here is a bunch of people who are unhealed that's blaming everybody else for their lack and what they don't have and what they're suffering from and all that. And you got all these bunch of unhealed people. And so if you think that you're going to be amongst a bunch of unhealed people and you think that you're going to be the diamond in the rough that's going to make it without them giving you some type of pushback, you got another thing coming. That's why you got to change your circle. You got to change all your circles around. Let me help some of y'all out just in case you've been struggling with what that is. You got to find different people to hang around, to be in your circle. But before you do that, so you don't attract the same type of people, I suggest you get on the path of healing yourself first. That way, you let go of all that other stuff. You don't attract the same people, right? Your vibrational frequency gets lighter. Now you're going to meet people that meet you on your frequency level. You don't cause pain to others and then, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to go over here to these white folks over here and I'm going to be over here with these folks. and pretend like I don't see these folks, but you still walking around here unhealed because you're going to attract them same folk around you, even if they white. It don't matter what race they are. You're going to attract the same type of individuals around you, and they're going to do to you what you did to somebody else. It's called law of attraction. Heal thyself. Let me run my PSA real quick. You are listening to Isis Wisdom on Isis Wisdom Live on YouTube. If you need quantum healing needs, if you need to get a reading done or what have you, come on over to isiswisdom.com and go ahead and get some services from us. If you're new to my channel, push the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate you and all the support. And for those of you that are currently on this live right now, I got 1,528 likes, and I got 2,041 of y'all on this live right now. And I would really appreciate it if you guys could just push that like button and let those numbers get up just a little bit higher. Gratitude. 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 Always give gratitude for everything that you do. Always give gratitude. Unity has always been the key. Someone said, damn, Isis, I got you. Girl, my hair, she said the hair is giving us a child. How? My hair is, girl, at least it's long enough for it to be in the damn bun. Let that sink in. If y'all could have saw how that thing was looking. That thing was out here. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that today. Because they was like, let your hair out. Let them see your hair. I said, yeah, nah. See what I'm saying? I gotta sit down and comb this hair in sections and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just trying to grow this hair out because I'm going to lock it up soon. I am going to lock my hair up soon. But I want it to be at a certain length before I lock it up. That's why I've been growing so much of it out. I was at one point in time. Y'all remember y'all remember my other videos? I had short hair. I couldn't even do this before. So I can do it now. Thank you, baby. Yeah, my hair grows fast when I leave it alone. When I leave it alone. When I leave it alone, like you wait till it locks. Y'all gonna be like, okay, Isis, where the hell all this hair come from? If you can find any of my old pictures, you're gonna see me when I had locks all the way down to my like stomach. I had long hair. I've always had long hair. Okay, when I decide I'm gonna let my hair grow, it's always been long. It's natural. It is healthy because I take care of my hair. Shoot, girl, I take care of my hair, honey. I don't play that. I don't play them type of games. I do have hair products. I use Miel. Hold up. Someone said, this shifted my whole rise and been on alert this weekend. Thank you dearly. Not perfect, but do my best. Thank you, Mama Isis, genuinely. You're welcome, Adney A. Desert, name Eagle. Y'all be killing me with these names. I swim in the ocean all the time. That's where I do a lot of my spiritual bath is in the ocean. I live literally 10 minutes from the beach. Sharifa Brown, you're right. And if you heard me at the beginning of the live, I said I couldn't find my head wrap. I couldn't find it. And I felt like I was being sabotaged. I think my fairies took my wraps because I can't find a single wrap. And I wasn't gonna put this. I started to put this silk bonnet on my head, but I was like, nah, that's ghetto as hell. That's too hood. Even though it's really pretty, that's too hood. Can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So my wraps are missing, like the case of the missing wraps. So I think my fairies might jack them because they're always taking things from me. Yes, but I do have my shields up, and I do have my crown shield up and operating and all that, so I'm good. Okay, someone said generally asking steps to start true shadow work. I want you guys to get this book by Quinn Barber called Momentum. It is a dope shadow work book. A lot of you guys may have this book. Some of you guys may be familiar with it. But I want you to go to Amazon.com. The name of the book is called Momentum by Quinn Barber. She has one of the dopest shadow work books written by a indigenous woman. Okay? That book is going to have you going through some changes. Okay? It's going to have you going through some changes. I use her book in one of my quantum is one of the books I use in my quantum shadow work course. But I use various different things, but her book is one of the ones I use for my quantum shadow work course. So I definitely highly recommend the book. Okay, it's called Momentum by Quinn Barber. You can either go, I think at quinnbarber.com, I think might be her website where you can buy the book directly from her direct, or you can go to Amazon and buy it from there. That is correct. Hold up. Someone said, Wesley Bridges said book is only good for toilet paper. Yeah, coming from someone who's not healing. Okay, Wesley. Nah, I gotta shut you down. Okay. Okay, someone said there's a bright star that just appeared right in front of me by the lake, and it's the only one out. Your fairies be hiding your stuff too? Yeah, fam. They be doing things, fam. They do things. All right, babies. Thank you very much. I enjoyed all of you guys on the live tonight. I appreciate you. Make sure you stay tuned to my live that I'm going to be doing in October called 2024 Predictions Part 2. I'm going to be doing an ad about this thing because I'm about to drop some science that I didn't even talk about on this live. Okay? But I'm about to drop some science. All right? I'm also going to do a live about the Orishas too. I'm going to tell the story about the Orishas in a way that has never been told before. For those of you that are in the Orisha tradition, boy, I got a treat for you. Wait till you find out the story I'm about to tell y'all about the Orishas. Woo! This is going to get some people pissed. I'm going to tell you that right now. Some people are going to be pissed. I don't care. But they're giving me the ability, they're giving me the sanction to tell the story, so I'm going to tell the story. But when y'all hear me tell the story, woo! This has a lot to do with the cosmology of Ifa, but I'm going to break it down in a way where I'm going to actually really put it in a storytelling format. You know what I'm saying? Where people can really get the visuals of that, because the Orishas are cosmic entities. These are not, people be trying to put them in a box. These entities are not to be placed in a box, and you are to establish a relationship with them before asking them for anything. And they talk to me all the time. I hear them talk. I remember some of y'all priests had an issue with that. I ain't got nothing to do with the fact that you can't hear. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But nonetheless, I've been trained by Rumula himself on a lot of different things concerning my priesthood. So I'm gonna break that down because I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been wanting to do some Orisha series work as well. So I'm definitely going to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. I say. Can't wait, beloved. Thank you for all that you do. Thank y'all. Love y'all. And good night.